Just on your YouTube.
Yeah,
it's you,
you're
bro.
right. I do
Hell
need that.
yeah.
I need that YouTube work. That's weird. What the heck is that? Hold up. Is there video playing for you guys? That's the video that I shot today. What the heck? Bro, hold on.
I don't see a
My
video.
phone is pissing me off. No, it's good. It was on my other screen, so you guys couldn't see or hear it. Well, you might have been able to hear it, but you couldn't see it. Yeah, it's a drive that I uploaded. Okay, so let me hit my record button. Record. Okay, it's recording to the cloud. All right, so we kind of skipped ahead here, and I'll recap that later if I need to. But we're in Privy, and we're trying to figure out what does a deal look like in Privy. Specifically, what does a fix and flip look like, right? So we selected fix and flips in Charlotte, and here's an opportunity. This is one that we'll scrutinize. So I see 924 Claremont Road. It's been listed for 14 days. Let me zoom in a little bit. It's been listed for 14 days at two. Oh, hold up. Mess that up. Hold on. I gotta fix this. I'm looking in this area. Okay, here we go. To go, little guy. You got to be careful with Privy because if you move, what it's looking at is a specific region based on what I'm looking for. So if I'm looking through the Privy listings, I'm going to use this one because this one seems like, and it's pretty preferred. So 4609 Albany Street. I'm going to just click it. And what happens is this is like when you say, hey, look at the property for me, this is what I do. Pull up the property. This down arrow tells me that there was a price reduction also. So if there's a price reduction in
Okay.
the last, like any period, it'll say
Yeah.
that. If there was a price increase, it'd be a green up arrow. This preview preferred mark is important because that tells me a lot of information real quick. So just looking at it, a 1406, single family rental, one story, one space, a driveway, built 1929, 7405.
It look like it's
I'm
two
gonna go down here.
stories.
Oh yeah, well, so that's actually really interesting. Well, we're gonna have to look in the picture, right? Because what it might be is just a high, might just be high ceilings. That's super interesting. I don't know.
That
Sometimes
look
it's
like
not
two
correct, right?
stories, bro. Yeah.
Definitely looks like two stories. But where's the
That's
stairs?
definitely.
I don't see any stairs. I mean, obviously they don't necessarily oh, there you go.
There you go, bro.
So
Look,
it's
you
not
look.
perfect. So now this is what's important though.
Mm.
Privy is using MLS data. So what does this
Okay.
mean? This means that the MLS listing for this property in the MLS is written in as one story. It's not pulling it didn't pull this from public, it didn't pull this from the county. This is literally straight from the MLS because it's on market. And that's important because if
Yeah.
somebody's looking for a two-story, then they're not going to hit it there. Or maybe agents put shit in wrong all the time. That's what I find in Privy. But yeah,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. This is clearly a two-story. I mean, we can see it in the pictures. So that's a discrepancy. I don't put too much effort and energy into that because
Yeah, it's cool,
again,
bro.
yeah, right.
It's
So
not you,
if
it's
I
them. Yeah.
yeah, if I click comparables, what Privy does is it brings me down here. Now, where I have this box set up, and I'll show you here in the setting. Right now, it's set to a half mile because we're talking about what will an appraiser use to determine value. If I come down here to the bottom right corner and I click settings, I'm gonna get my menu to pop up here one of these seconds whenever it decides that it's not gonna play me on camera. That's crazy. They get me good. Oh, here we go. So down here, right? This is these are the criteria that I have saved in Privy as what a deal is. Hold on, give me 1 second. All right. So right now you can see my comp radius is half mile. The gray box you see is a half mile around the subject property. Right now I'm just looking for single families. I have not selected beds and bath, but I did have one stories, and this is important because
Yeah, I
I
gotta
want
change
I
it.
want Privy to look at anything that might and could be a comp. If I want to scrutinize it and make it even tighter, then I can do that. But what it's going to do for me if I don't select those is it's going to look at anything that might begin to be a comp. The delta for square footage, I use 15 square feet, 15% plus or minus. And so it tells you right here at 1046, it'll compare to down to 490 and up to 1202.
Okay.
I can also look at the delta for lot size, right?
Mm-hmm.
The delta for lot size, I don't plug anything in here because the community understanding and the standard is 2,500 square feet. I can't
Okay.
necessarily account for that based on a percentage, right? Because it doesn't always connect. And so it's just something I
Yeah.
look at as a glance, right? You see me do that a bunch of times. As far as the
Yeah.
year built, this is another thing based on the community standards. And that's why Privy is a gold nugget for me. I could put the number of years here based on 1929. I'm looking for plus or minus 10 years. And so I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
for things as old as 1919, which is hella old, and as new as 1939, right? If it's outside of that, it's a completely different standard of living. And I can consider what those things might be. But if I'm just looking at fix and flips and not a tear down,
Mm-hmm.
I want to keep it in the range of that. And
So you
right.
wouldn't
And
mess
then
with it in that
I'm
case.
not gonna mess with it right now. Before I start changing anything, I'm gonna look at what already populates. Right?
All
I'm gonna
right.
see if there's any comps within this that already populate. So based on a 15% delta, I'm not telling it bed and bath count. I did
Mm.
say one story. I am gonna change this to include two stories because we can tell this is a
Yeah.
two-story home.
Yeah.
I'd say no
Gotcha.
basement because there is no basement for this that I can suss out. And I want my comps to be within a half mile, and I'm specifically looking for single family, right? When I hit save, well,
Yeah.
let me back up. I'm gonna hit save, but here's the thing: if you check a comp in Privy, and there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing in there, if there's nothing in the space down here. What that means is that there is nothing that Privy can see that it would consider a comp based on these rules. So sometimes what I'll
Mm.
do is I'll come in here, I'll click all, and there's a bunch of properties that it is not showing you in here. And it's by design. I don't want to waste time going looking at properties that are not comps, that I know are not comps. If they're 30% larger than the property, it's not a comp. I don't care. I'm not going to look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm
Yeah.
not going to do that right now. I'm going to leave it as it is. I added a second story. I'm going to let it keep looking at all bad sizes, and I'm going to save that. And so here's what I'm looking at. Within a half mile, here's what we got. We've got 14 sales. We've got one that's under contract right now. We've got two that are pending. We have one that's active, still on the market, and we have 15 records of rentals. This is also helpful to help you determine what your rental rate is in the area. So now you can see these, right? Red is
Mm-hmm.
sold. This is where the properties have sold. Purple are rentals. And so there's a cluster of rental properties over here. Sometimes it's actually the same property that's showing up year after year, but you've got like
Yeah.
$1,000 up to the northeast. You got 1,300 down to the southwest. You got 1,400. Blue is an investor activity, and the reason that that's important is that when it was just sold, but there wasn't a huge change in anything.
Yeah.
That's if it was sold after a long period of holding, it's just a regular sale. But investor activity is if it was sold within a year. So now what I'll do is I'm going to scrutinize the investor activity, right? I want to see what people are doing in the area. And remember, we talked about the four things that I'm looking for in 4-star comp. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sort by distance, right? And what I like to do is kind of just see what's close. I'm looking at order from closest to furthest. And interestingly
Mm.
enough, this is the far line for me. I only want to look at half a mile first and
Yeah.
foremost. And so within the
Yeah.
half mile, pretty much anything above this line, what do we have? We have some sales. The highest sale that I have within here right now is 265,
No,
right? Now,
268.
well, you see, oh,
Oh,
you're
no,
right.
that's
Thank you.
active. But that's
Well,
active,
that's
right?
active. Exactly that, right?
Okay,
So
never
I don't
mind.
even,
Yeah.
it's funny because I didn't even look at it because it wasn't red.
Yeah, that's cool.
And
That's cool.
actually, that 265 is pending, so it doesn't even count.
Yeah.
The
So
closest
the
sale,
highest is two
260,
sixty. Okay.
and it's the
So
closest property is 0.14. Now let's
I'm
scrutinize
taking
more
that's
data,
that's
right?
that's been fixed though. So
Well,
it's
yeah, we
looking
can take
like
a look. But before we even
yeah.
take a look at that, we're going to look at some other things, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hide everything when you're looking at the comps. So you know how
Hmm.
I've like sent you preview links?
Yeah.
If you copy this link, whatever you have in here is what people will see when you share it with them. So what I'm going to do in
Okay.
here is anything that I'm not going to use as a comp that I wouldn't use
Yeah.
or I don't want anybody to see, I'm going to hide it. So this one is 60.62. I like that number, but functionally, if I don't have to use it or it's not likely that an appraiser use it, I'm going to eliminate it. So I'm going to click the I here. I'm going to hide this. 260.61, it's outside of my half mile. I'm going to hide that. 0.59, it's outside. Hide it. 0.57, hide it. 0.52, I like that number, but I'm gonna hide it. It's pending. I don't care. It's under contract. I don't care. Hide it. Right. If it's pending, that's great. It's within the window. I see these numbers. That's something. Oh, what's that? Is that somebody joining?
No, I think he's
Oh,
showing
Keyshawn's
us.
gotta drop out. Oh, you good, man. Yeah, I'll drop when you come back in, it'll be on YouTube. I'm probably gonna upload this from the YouTube so I got no music playing.
Mm.
So these two are going to be really interesting. They're just within the threshold for the half mile. They're listed at 265-ish, and those are going to be good comps. And in fact, they're gonna be 4-star comps, right? Because they're well, almost. So here's the things I'm gonna look at. I'm looking at distance. It's good in
Oh,
distance.
the build,
The
the
year
year
built, there
build.
you go. So
Yeah.
this is a 70-year difference. So I can go look at these. I'm not even gonna do it. I'm not gonna waste my time. I
Yeah, so
looked
you
at the
wanna erase
distance,
them.
they work. I'm gonna hide them, and that's painful because I don't like that. I want these to be good,
Yeah,
but there's
yeah.
70 years difference. They just don't match up, man.
Those
So
are the
I
those are the same, house.
now what will be valuable though, yeah, they might actually be the same house. What will be valuable though is knowing that if I tore this house down, I,
Yeah.
in theory, might be able to get it to at least 265, and then I'm working different math there, right? Because if I'm gonna do a full
Okay.
rebuild, if I'm looking at oh, okay, that's weird. If I'm looking at a full rebuild on a what are these? 1065. So I'm gonna say a 1065. That's wrong. If I do a 1065 and I do a complete full rebuild, $75 a square foot or something like that, that's $80,000 to completely rebuild this house. Now, if I do $80,000 for a complete rebuild, I don't even know how much we bought it for, whatever the case is. I mean, we can get into that. It might be worth it. I don't even care about that right now. Right now, that's not a comp that I would reasonably use. Right. So within distance, these are all within distance, right? Cool. Now I'm gonna go look at my
Mhm.
year built. I'm looking at 529, 1929. So anything that's before 1910, 1919, and then after
Yeah.
1939, I don't really want to use. Plot twist, none of these meet that criteria.
Yeah,
And so
but you didn't change it yet though,
I
right?
didn't change it because for me personally,
Yeah.
I would rather me scrutinize this because this is the position I end up in. Anything that's outside of that distance range, I don't even want to
Yeah.
care about it. If I
Yeah.
have no other options, then I will begin to look at these from the oldest to the newest. That's why
Okay.
I do it that way. And I also that so
Alright.
there's only 4 things I do here. I look at my distance, I look at what year it was built, I look at when the last sales were. So once I've gotten through distance and I've eliminated the obvious year
Mhm.
builds that were like way, 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 way newer or older or whatever the case is, then I look at my sales. And now I have it sorted by most recent sales. The most recent sales out of what is remaining, and this isn't even a sale, this is active. So I really don't even care about this truly. This is updated 8/5, 1964. So let me go for my year built for my oldest property. The oldest property sold 7/13/2023, and it's the closest one. So the closest thing that I have to a comp is this property. Let's see if it's an AR. You can already tell. Do you think this is an
Mm.
after repair value home?
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful.
So
Yeah.
now we've identified what's close. We've identified we've i- and we've identified what's close. We've identified what's closed recently. This was like a month ago, so that's still good. That gives us 5 whole months of rehab and escrow if we needed to get through that. Very
Yeah.
likely and high success rate. The structure of the house, it's a 2-2. It's only one story allegedly. We'll see. It's a bit smaller, and that's on to my benefit, right? It doesn't necessarily match up as a true comp, depending on how you're looking at it, but it's obviously renovated, right? They even put
Yeah.
the
And it's
nice
because of the
little
year built, right? That's looking like it's looking like that's the only thing off. The lot looks bigger too, but that doesn't
right.
really matter too much, right? Because it's 2,500 square
Well,
feet. Which one was the last
I
one?
didn't scrutinize it. Yeah, we have to look at that, right? So the lot's
Yeah.
1297, 74. So that's another
Oh yeah,
thing
that's
where
huge. Yeah, it's
that's a huge
way
difference,
bigger,
right?
bro. Yeah.
Now the thing to think
Yeah.
about there though is this, right? If I have no comps, if I have no comps, then we have to start
Uh.
making reasonable judgment calls. So if I get into this space where even my most closest comp isn't a true comp, this is what I do. I go to my
Yeah.
settings. I show everything. I want to see everything. And I want to be the scrutinizer. I'm not going to let the system do it for me. So it's still looking
Okay.
at the half a mile, but look at how much more information I have here. Now I have
Absolutely.
47 properties, 3 under contract,
Absolutely.
4 pending, 6 active, and 39 rental records. So now I'm going to do the same level of scrutiny, but I'm going to do it in reverse. I'm going to look at everything that is close, and that one that we were just looking at is still here. I want to look
Mm.
at what's sold recently, right? I want to look at what's selling. If I have to go look at everything, I want to see what
Mhm.
is selling, what has sold. So I'm gonna go to sold, only sold. I only care about sold. Nothing else to me, literally nothing matters if
Yeah.
it hasn't sold, right? Because even if it's pending, it'll say this number here, but I've seen some go pending, and then the number is like it's a cash offer, right? Somebody called them at a good
Mhm.
time, right?
Yeah.
You already know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I'm gonna go sold, and then I'm gonna go check my date. And I'm gonna sort by date, and I'm gonna find out what sold recently and what's selling in this half mile radius. So here we go. Oh, I skipped that. I scrolled too hard. All right, so sold. Have this sort, auto sort. All right, here we go. The last thing that sold is 824 a couple of days ago, 0.44. It was 50K. They bought it. Now, here's what a deal looks like. They
Okay.
bought it at 50K. They
Mhm.
sold it for 3.25K. The square footage is 1,400. The cost per square foot based on this price is 17,227. The square footage, the lot square footage is 10,934. That's a that's a closer structure than the other one. And here's where it is. This one looks like it was an empty lot. Let's go take a look.
It was constructed though. This is
There
a
you go.
brand new construction.
Exactly. It's a brand new construction deal, right? Now this
Okay.
lets me know that no joke, the upper threshold of a brand new construction is 325 approximately, right?
And that's crazy because they bought it for 50,000. That mean he just bought the lot.
100% certain. And so that gives me some
Wow. That's
information that
crazy.
that's not so now you know
That's
within this
cool.
half mile, if you
Yeah.
find a lot, you could find the lot for 50 grand or less. So now
Yeah.
start building the rules for your zone. A lot you can buy for 50 grand within this half mile
Mhm.
and build a property for however much it cost them to build for 325. But here's another thing to think about. It could tell you who bought that property, who bought the lot, and find them the lot. So you could sell the lot to
Yeah.
them for 50K or work with
Exactly.
them to rehab it, right?
Yeah.
Let's look at the
Yeah.
next one, 441. This one was bought for 78 and it wasn't a lot. This is a 3-1. They turned it into a 3-2. This one's a probably tear down, right? It says built in 2023, but we're gonna look. So this one may sometimes it's not
It might have been a
100%.
lot too.
It might have been a lot. I mean, we can literally
It
go
might have been
check
a
it.
lot.
It'll tell me down here. Yep, it was. It was a
Yeah.
lot.
Okay, cool. That's
So they
crazy.
bought this lot for 78. All right. But let's
So
go
they're
find one
building
that was
out
not a
there.
lot. 100%. That's because this market, a deal is a lot. Yes, baby. Baby.
Oh.
Baby, I'm on a call. I love you too.
Oh, she's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, but you.
She can hear you and she's like, all right.
Oh, well, I miss mine.
Um, here's another thing, right? This
Yeah.
number is the percentage of ARV. This is telling you based on the price of this property, the subject property that we're looking at, here's what
Mhm.
the price is compared to the ARV of this property. Now, it's kind of erroneous because for these that are obviously new and renovated, there is an
Mhm.
ARV there. But for like this one that says 118%, this one is not an ARV. It's probably an as is deal. Exactly. And so if you find a renovated property, then this number is going to be lower. And now we're starting to make the rules for the deal. If it's a lot, I need to be able to buy it at what's 50 out of 325, right? Whatever that number is. Right now at
That's
165. So if we
51%.
were looking, it's
No,
51%.
that's less than that.
If this was a lot, this is not a deal because it's greater than what we're looking at, right? We can see that these lots are 50, 75 grand in that space. I'm trying to find one that is an ARV deal. This house is a 2-2. What can we get to, right? Let's go look at the 2-2s. Here's a 2-2. Here's a 2-2. It was 1937. This sold a month ago. It was on market for 40 days. Let's
Mm,
go look at this one.
this is this would be a
They
good combo.
sold
This
this
pretty.
one for, there you go, right? So this one was sold for 192.
Oh wait, but that's
It's
renovated.
it's renovated. So now what are we looking at here, right?
Uh,
Okay, so
yeah.
this is a renovated property for 192. Does this make sense? It's an updated bungalow, right? Why is an updated? So now what does that tell you? That tells you that an
He's not
updated
insane.
property
Kind of.
in this range could sell for 192. The ARV is 192. This property at 165 is listed at 86% ARV. That's not a deal.
No.
That's why this house hasn't sold. Because the person that wants to buy this house has to add a bedroom, or maybe
Yeah.
not, right? It's a
No.
two.
No. No.
So no, it's good. They don't have to
Yeah.
add a bedroom. So they don't have to add a bedroom, but
And the lot
it was
size is about the right.
yeah,
Is the
it's
right
within
too.
2,400. So an
Oh,
ARV,
it's is it then 0.23 miles too?
it's within the
It's
five.
less
So
than 50.
literally,
Yeah.
this
0.5.
is the comp. This is the one. This is an after repair value home that sold less than 60 days ago. It's like 30 something. So the conversation from me to this agent is, bro,
Mhm.
what's going on here?
Yeah.
Why are you at 165? What are you using as comps? And if you
Yeah.
ask the agent, here's what they're going to do. They're going to go to sold. They're going to go to distance. They're going to eliminate anything over a half mile. They're going to say what was the most recent sales, and they're just going to run the numbers black and white, not scrutinizing.
Yeah.
In most cases, they're not going to scrutinize to any degree what were those properties
These
truly. Are they truly
yeah.
direct sales?
Yeah.
They're not. They're just not.
And
And
that's
you can't pretend that they are. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I'd be curious as to what they're using here, right? They're saying that this as is property, as I see it, it's as is, right? Okay, yeah, you got to redo all this. The other one is 190 fully renovated. So are you telling me this is $30,000 worth of work only between this one and the one that we just saw with beautiful finishings and all this other stuff?
Yeah.
Probably not. I don't know though, right? Maybe I don't know what
But
I'm talking about.
it's looking like wait, go back inside. It looked like it's almost renovated all the way. Like it's just
Possibly.
like it needs just some certain stuff. It don't look bad at all, bro.
It doesn't.
It actually doesn't look
You're
bad.
right. And so that's a fair
So
point. But
maybe
who is the deal for? Who's the customer?
exactly,
Your customer,
exactly.
if this is a 30 grand transition here,
It
right? If
look
this is 30
yeah,
grand delta, I wouldn't, where's my profit, right? And that's what I'm talking about
yeah.
here. When we go, like if we go back into the tool that I had, how much profit do I need? If I'm looking at a house that I'm gonna be able to sell for 192, if I'm gonna be able to sell it for 192, I want to be able to make 19, at least 10%. They want more than 10%. The flipper's going to want more than 10%. So we're at
Yeah,
172 before we even account for any wholesaler fees, right? That's why it hasn't worked. That's why this property hasn't sold because no wholesaler, maybe most won't, they're not going to be able to get even 5 grand out of here, right?
yeah,
Maybe if somebody was like, yeah, I can micro flip this for $1,000 and just get it done, but that's not even accounting for all the other costs. I got 165. I mean, you already know this. We could fight
mhm,
this number every way to Sunday. I
yeah.
won't even scrutinize this deal
Closing,
at these numbers. Exactly. Two
closing.
closings because they're going to close it once to buy it and they're going to close it again to sell it. And there's holding costs in there. The
Yeah,
numbers
and
don't make sense for the customer.
and that's not always the case, but probably it
Well,
might
that's
be a
fair.
double closing.
No, no, no.
That's not always the
That's not what I
case.
meant. I wasn't saying a double close as far as acquisitions. If it's a fix and flipper, they're going to pay 8% closing costs approximately on the front side when they acquire the property. And then when they sell it, they're going to pay
Uh,
8% on that. That's why the
okay.
calculator that I have has that cost built in.
Mm,
So when I look at this number, this is what I was teaching. This is what I was teaching my VAs to use Privy. So when they just did what we just did and they find an ARV, they plug in the
well,
ARV.
I have a question
Shoot.
because typically when a regular person buys a home, regular like conventional with a loan,
Mhm.
are they still because typically it's always where the buyer is meant to usually pays the closing cost, but is that only for an investor standpoint or
So
is it
usually,
for
so it depends. What they would usually do is they'll split the closing costs. Buyers don't pay 100% closing costs in traditional transactions. Yes, baby. No, back out of the scene. Stop right there. What do you need? All right, I bang with that. Have fun, man. Um,
uh,
but yeah,
I
usually
see
closing
that.
costs are split evenly. I mean, it's a negotiation, but traditionally the
Yeah.
closing costs for the lender and things are split evenly. Now, yes, the buyer is bringing all of their capital to the table, right? They're getting a new loan. And so it would make sense that the seller's paying their cash, the seller's paying for their costs out of equity. The buyer's bringing money from the loan and they're taking on that loan as debt. But usually the closing costs are split evenly. That's why if you look at my LOIs, in my first engagement, I have it split even. Now, you can say if I really want it, if I want to get in and just call it quick and dirty with a cash offer, I'll say, yeah, I'll pay
Yeah.
everything because it makes things simple. But depending on where I am in the negotiation and discussion and what I know, I might start with, we'll split the closing costs. And then I'll say, you know what? I tell you what, you didn't like that. What if I paid everything? Now I'm giving them that position where they feel that it's a better deal for them. But honestly, like I was just being lazy or trying to get a better deal from the beginning, and now I can't. Um, but yeah, I mean, to answer your question, the in a traditional sale, it could be either way. Normally, most of those costs are split even. Like the taxes,
Yeah.
usually the seller pays them. There's costs that seller will pay, there's costs that the buyer will pay, but a lot of them are split evenly down the middle.
Okay. And then also look at this, right? Look at this foundation.
Oh yeah, yeah,
what might be the problem? Look at that. It look kind
I
of weird.
actually, so that's exterior. That's not even the foundational. So this to me looks like a cinder block building that had some sort of exterior work done where it's like plaster. That's not cracking
Okay,
of the
cool.
foundation as I'm reading it, right? Just looking at the pictures from
Yeah,
here. That's not cracking of the
yeah.
foundation. That is cracking of the exterior fascia, the plaster. Like
Got
in
you.
Philly, we got
Got you.
it's like plaster, not plaster de Paris. I don't know what it's called. But it's this. It's this same thing. I just it's like cement siding or some shit like that.
I got you,
And it
bro. I
cracks
see it.
off. But that's not you know what I'm saying?
All right.
I would
This looks
say
pretty nice,
honestly,
bro. It
it's
don't
not
even look. It
crazy.
doesn't look bad.
So
Yeah,
here's what
it's
I
not
think
at
happened
all.
here. Here's what happened here. I mean, we can read it, right? Da, 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 da. It's partially improved. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So here's what happened. I mean, we can probably tell you based on the previous owners, right? And you have access now, so you can do this too. Check the
Mhm.
property history. Who bought it? The buyer is these guys, these folks. The seller was Boulder Chris Inc. So this guy bought it back in 2018. At some
2018.
point, it transitioned. Maybe is it still with the same owner, Mr. Desai? Maybe doesn't really matter, but it kind of helps me know. Um, it
Give you an
doesn't matter right
idea of
now.
what could be going on.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah. So why are they selling it? It's boarded up. Like,
it's
what's
boarded
going
up.
on?
It's because they couldn't finish it, right? And here's the issue, though. He has it priced too high. So here, this is why this is important. This is what I would say. This is what I reads to me as an investor was trying to get some work done. Maybe it's
Mhm.
a bad area. I don't know anything about it, right? I don't know anything about this
Yeah.
property, but I can tell you right now that 165 is and Privy is saying that it's still a deal possible based on the comps. I'm going to scrutinize that for. Oh, I did not mean to do that. I didn't mean to leave it. Oh, damn. Where'd I go? Oh, I didn't mean to leave it. It's in there somewhere. It didn't
We'll
disappear. It's
find
just
it.
not on top. Somewhere in there. Is that it? No.
You
I don't
got
know.
it.
It's still in there. Um, I'll find it. But yeah, Privy says it could be a deal based on comps. And the reason that is Privy looks at possibilities and potential. So somewhere in there, there's a comp that has a much higher value over a 30% spread. And the conversation from Privy is, look, I don't care how you would have to do it, but it's possible. And so if you were a developer, right, you can see some of these properties
Mhm.
that are like plans, right? Privy
Yeah.
says if you buy this lot, you might be able to do something with it. That something might include destroying it,
Yeah.
right? I leave that
Yeah.
option in there because for me, I'm looking at the possibility there it is. I'm looking at the possibility for a buyer to come in and take that over. And so what you can do here, just looking at this one,
Mhm.
is that looking at this one, looking at the comparables, knowing that there was a fully renovated property at 192, think that this is not a deal. But what would make it a deal,
Right.
right? If it was just a simple fix and flip, it's absolutely not a deal. But if it was
Mhm.
a fully done rehab, what's the highest price that anybody's paid? It's these ones here. There's a 185. I were to add two bedrooms and a bathroom, I could get 389. So here's the question. How much might it cost me to add two bedrooms and a bathroom?
Yeah.
And to add, well, it's like 500 square feet. Do I even have the space? And these are the questions that I would scrutinize.
Mm.
Based on what we're talking about, your customer
Yeah.
is a fix and flipper. And you got to think
Right.
about what type of fix and flipper. Is he an in and out, down and dirty fix and flipper? Or is he the type to completely renovate, add square footage? Because in Charlotte, they will do that.
Mm.
Know who your buyer is and think about that buyer. Privy will help you figure that out. In this case, it might make sense to do something like this if the numbers make sense. And that's why this property is potentially a deal because it has a lot that is, in theory, big enough to hold something like these other properties. That one's huge. That lot is gigantic, bro. But
Wow.
this property is sitting on a 9,100 square foot lot. It's not that much
Mhm.
bigger.
But it's
Could
bigger.
could somebody it is bigger for sure. Yeah, it's got a little bit more square footage there. Could somebody build and it's fully
Mm.
renovated, right? So could somebody add
Identifies.
500 square footage? Can you find 500 square feet to put in here for a 282 square foot home? And then here's another thing, right? This
Mhm.
property also says it's one story. That's not true,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So this is a good note that the data that is showing here is not explicitly accurate. I do want to check for a second. Give me one moment. I do
Mhm.
want to cross check real quick and see if batch is showing the same data because this is This is why I use the two of them kind of concurrently. What I found is that sometimes Privy is inaccurate because it's based on direct MLS data, whereas Batch usually is not pulling MLS data. Batch is usually, although it does pull MLS data. Batch also pulls public data straight from counties and whatnot, right? It's scraping and
Mhm.
things like that. Um, and so if I look at this property, the one that we just had open, um, where is it? Comparables, stories, where is it? Doesn't even tell me that. Bedroom, bathroom units. Doesn't tell me. That's okay. It's not that deep. I mean, you can obviously see that it's more than one floor. So, that just is what it is. But it's
Yeah,
really
it has a
interesting that
pool
it's
too.
only
It
saying,
says.
wait, what?
Yeah, it
Don't you
says it
have
got a
pool?
pool. Yeah, go
Where you
down. You
see
see
that?
it? Property characteristics. It says it has a pool.
Get the heck out of here. That's dope.
Right.
I bang with that.
Right.
All right. And
But see,
I,
that's
I
type of
think
stuff that you
leveraging.
can't really do if the like you that wouldn't count because you'd be like, oh well, look at the lot square footage, right?
Right. And
How do you
so
know I'm
with
gonna be able to
Privy,
add a
baby, no,
pool if
I'm
the
I'm
lot
in a
square
call.
footage is not
You
like that?
guys sort it out. You guys can figure it out. Say that again.
Like how do they'll say, how do I know I can do that? How do I know I can add a pool if the lot isn't the same size?
I would say
Where's the
to them,
pool, bro?
and so that's what I was scrutinizing, right? What it may not be
I
communicating
know
is
that's
where that
not the
pool
pool.
is. Maybe the pool is in the shed. I don't know. At the end of
Yeah,
the
who
day,
knows,
it's
man?
not necessarily for me to find out. And that pool might be an above ground pool, right? Who's to know?
Mhm.
The truth is, here's another thing. Yes,
Sounds
I
crazy,
account for
boy.
pool value, but here's the thing. If there's a pool
Mhm.
there, I only give credit of about $10,000 for any pool, no matter how big it is, right? And that is a community thing. I don't really care if there's a pool. And if it shows me
Okay.
that, that's not the characteristic that the majority of the pricing is set on.
This is
I
what
don't care if it,
about
it
yeah,
has a pool, you know what I'm saying? I'm
yeah.
not worried about that. I'm worried about, is it up to date? Was it sold recently? Is it nearby? And does it have a similar structure and flow? Like stories, and even better if it's a no joke mirrored property. So if we're looking at this, based on what Privy says, this property, 4609 Alney Street, is probably a deal. And it's probably a deal because there's multiple options here. What it doesn't tell you is what that exit strategy is. That's for you to determine. What I'm saying here is that this might be a pop top or a full extension. It
Mhm.
might be worse to spend another $100,000, right? Let's just assume for a second we spent 100 grand. I don't know what that would be per square foot, but let's just say we had to add 700 square feet, and it cost us $100,000 a square foot, right? To do everything, build up structure, that's 70 grand. So 70 grand plus 165 is $235,000, literally $100,000 profit minus other costs. I mean, it's more than that, right? At 335, that'd be 100 grand minus other stuff. At minus 375, that's 140 delta. So that's accounting for closing costs. That's accounting for other profits. That's accounting for wholesale fees. So for me, if I had a buyer that I knew was doing this work like these,
Mhm.
and I would say, hey, Mr. Buyer, if I find another property like this, would you buy it? Right here, the guy who did this work, not even this one. Here's what I would do, and we could literally do it right now. Who bought this one? They bought it at 185, right? Hey,
Mhm.
Mr. Who bought it at 185? Let's go down here and check public records.
Yo, this is actually a deal. All you have to do
Yeah,
is
no joke.
contact
It's a
that
deal
buyer.
right now.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna tell you who the buyer is. You ready? Here's the buyer. Property history. Invest. I already knew this. I already fucking knew this because I was working Charlotte. I didn't tell you that. I was working Charlotte. You know the form that
No.
I just showed you? The
Yeah.
document that I showed you? If you go to the tabs for cash buyers, Queen City Investments and InvestCar are two of the main buyers down here. They'll buy a deal from you. I've already talked to them. In fact, let me see if I still have their number
Oh,
saved in
you
And
here.
know
it
Kendrick
said
then.
that they bought this for what, 184,000?
Yeah.
This house?
Yep.
So they changed this to a four bed, three
Yeah.
bath.
That's what that arrow shows you. If I didn't make that clear,
Shit,
so
let's
these
call them.
arrows. That's what I'm saying. Well, we're gonna have to look them up. You know how to find you know how to find it. And one, they have a website. If I didn't tell you that, you can just Google them. But if we wanted to play through the whole rigmarole, we could go look them up. But I'm pretty sure these guys have a website. All that's said and done is right now. Here is the no shit answer. This is why I love Privy. Privy just told us what a deal looks like. Privy just told us that somebody bought a property for 184. They turned it from a 3.2 to a 4.3. They were under construction for 52 days. They held it total 97 days. So they were under construction for 52 days, and it took them 45 days to sell it. They had a pretty tight sale. If I look
Wow.
at the things here, they bought it back in March 7th, and then they were done with all their rehab by the 28th of April. They changed it. They listed it
Damn, that's
375. They
fast.
listed 375. Yeah, their thing's wired tight, and they sold it to the Rojas.
And that is a city, so they moved. The city moved fast. Like,
Yeah.
they be they be getting it. Shit, let's JV.
Let me see. Was it Invest Car? I had their number saved. I don't remember what phone I have it on. I think I might have called them on my main line. But yeah, let's just get their information right now. And literally, like this is the conversation. You now know three things. You know what a deal looks like for this particular area. You know what the possibilities are in this particular area. And then
You know, you
third,
can
you
have it.
literally
I
know who your
remember.
buyer is. You know who
Yeah.
your assignment buyer is, right? Because here's another thing. They sold this to a person. They sold it to a person.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you can have it. You just did all the work.
Paris.
You
So
just-
you know Kendrick and Christian.
What's that?
So you know of Kendrick and Christian, Queen City Solution.
Is that Queen City Solutions? I think that's the right one. I don't know
Yeah.
them personally. I
Oh,
remember
okay.
when I was working with there was one of the guys that I linked up with when I first started in Sub 2. His name was Tracy. He showed me a lot of this stuff, right? I put him on a Privy, but he and I worked this market pretty. So like this conversation isn't strange to me. And when I saw InvestCar and Queen City, I mean, I don't remember which one it is. Is Queen City the ones that are doing all the pop tops, like doing the heavy big renovations? But if so, yes. I mean,
Hey, bro,
I think so.
Okay, so what was the year on the house that they changed from a three from
it was
a
1939. I think it was 1939.
oh,
Let's go look at it. Well, this one's 1968, but there's another one. The other one that we were looking at that was effectively as is was like 1939. It was like 19, it was 100, it was sold for $192,000, and it was only a little bit
1930?
older. Yeah, it was in 1930 something. So it was within the threshold for this, and that's why I was saying if we're looking at just black and white comment, and this is why again I do open it up to all. So if you see me do this, if I was just to leave it on and you could see me doing this all the time,
Yeah.
this is how I scrutinize them. I just open them all because yes, I trust Privy, but if I don't have a clean comp at face value, I'll just go straight to all and then scrutinize it just like this. But I don't want to do this if I don't have a conversation point. And again, I won't even necessarily have to do this unless I won't even do this unless I have a reason to. I forget where the thing was in here. Let me see, where was it? Was this one? No, that one. This one. Reliance Street, it was 1937. So this one is a renovation in the neighborhood, like right around the corner. They didn't, but here's the difference, right? There's multiple levels. This is a no joke, just fix it and get rid of it. It's at 192. The one that we looked at was they added, you see the arrows here? These indicate changes of some degree.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and really the change, I know this one doesn't look like it changed, but what it changed was they changed something in the building on the
The
inside
levels.
that triggered
Oh no.
what no.
Oh no.
Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's wrong. But here's what I found because I fucked with this a lot, right? What I found was that if you see the numbers changed, but you didn't see if you see the numbers have a change arrow, but you didn't see
Yeah.
them change on the inside, what I found is that sometimes it's obviously a renovation, but sometimes what they did was they changed the layout or the structure inside the house, and they triggered the Privy's so fucking it's so interesting because some markets will reflect these things. If I took a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house and then I had to bust a bunch of walls down and make pull permits and move some things, and it gets
Yeah.
re-identified as a
Open the
3-2,
kitchen
and they
and
have to file it, right? And it didn't change; it's still a 3-2, but some things changed. Sometimes it doesn't change like that. So if I looked at this one for Rowan, you guys talking to mommy? Tell her I said, hey, girl, hey. Tell her I'm trying to see her in that dress. Tell her come through. Tell her, hey, no, tell her what I said. Tell her, hey, girl, hey.
Crazy.
She's stupid. I love you. Come home in that dress. I want to see it. It's the blue one. She real cute today. She didn't send me any
That's
pictures
nice.
today. She's got a blue one with the stripes, yeah. Now let us send us a picture.
They be doing this.
I'll show it to you. So this is actually really simple. That's nice tile work. So I like what they did here.
Yeah.
Queen City Investments. Let's go fucking low.
I'm pretty simple dude. Like,
Earl, you know them or what? Those your gang or what? Did you meet them already?
So I had a so I had a consultation with him probably like 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Hell yeah. What happened? What they were improving their infrastructure, their architecture?
It's same people.
Something like that. So no, this
This
isn't
might be
them.
different people.
Yeah, this is definitely different people. I know their LLC. In fact, I mean, I don't want to go doing other stuff. I know that I have their LLC information saved somewhere. I just don't remember where it is. I pulled the big players. So let's talk about why this is important. Let's change the game for a second here.
Okay.
So for this particular set, this is what we found with Privy. And I'm gonna stop sharing for a second and just like talk. Right. So Privy is helpful, and I want you to play with it. And you got my back, and I got your back, and I'll support you with like how you want to play with it. But here's why Privy is important. Privy for me as an agent, and for you, gives you access to full MLS things, right? And it pulls all that information in one place. That's great. What you can do with Privy is you can figure out what a deal looks like within a given market and a particular type of deal. I see the baby. She's like, "Hey, what's good? You doing a thing?" It shows you what a deal looks like in a market, and it tells you a particular type of deal, right? If you're looking at fix and flips, well, what does a fix and flip look like in this zip code? What does a pop top look like in the zip code, and all those other things? And then what you can also do, stop right there. Thank you. What you can also do is you can look at what buyers are in a market. That's how I know Queen City Investments. That's how I know InvestCar. That's how I know a couple of the other CLT flips. That's how I know a couple of these other folks. That's how I know that which ones are doing pop tops. That's how I know who's doing dirty in and out 60-day flips. And how I know that Queen City Investments can do it just as fast, but they are adding bedrooms and bathrooms and stop. What do you need? Can you have some what? What do you want to have? You go figure it out. Make sure you wipe your nose first, though, and wash your hands. You can have whatever you like. There's nothing in there you can't eat. If you can reach it, you can eat it. And if you can't reach it, get a chair. But yeah, so you can figure out who those buyers are, and then you already know you can look them up in their state, Secretary of State. If they're operating in North Carolina, they have to be a North Carolina registered entity. And if they're not, that's a different conversation. They just are, especially in Charlotte. They're super anal about that. They don't let anybody don't get caught not pulling permits in Charlotte. They will take the house. So here's what I would say. Action points to take this into action, right? You, Chris, as a cash buyer, are looking to assign. I can literally tell you the two buyers right now who would be your most likely customer, because that's your customer. InvestCar LLC, which we can look up together like right now, and we can just call them. And then Queen City Investments. I think there's two very similar. You just text them? Perfect.
Yeah, I just text them.
So Earl already got the connection. If it's the same guys that I'm pretty sure it is, the same team it is that I'm pretty sure it is.
Jacob Waycaster.
I don't remember. This was like almost a year ago. That sound?
Okay.
I'll find their website because they're Googleable, right? And their website even explains what they do different than the other guys. They are able to offer more money because they're not just doing an in and out dirty $30 flip. They're pushing up marble and fucking they're putting quality products together. They're doing high-end luxury homes. And literally I watched them over a 6-month period. It's in the history, you can go check it. I watched them over a 6-month period literally buy every house on the block and convert them. So it's like 7 houses. The first one changed into a mansion. The second house changed to a mansion. The third and fourth house changed to a mansion. And they literally just walk down the door like, "Hey, what's good, gang? You see those houses over there? We did that. We want to buy your house. We'll give you $70,000. And they're like, "Everyone else is offering me 30." And he's like, "I don't give a dang. I'm going to turn into an $800,000 home. He can give you $70,000. They're probably doing novations. That would make the most sense, right? Like, hey, move out. I'll give you 70 grand when it's finished. It's gonna be 800,000 for me. I'm clearing 400 grand on it. I don't give a dang. I'll give you 100 grand. You know what? I really like the look of that chair. I'll buy that couch too. 500 grand, right? Like, what's the point? But yeah. So for you, Chris, those are your two most likely buyers. I see them on so many properties. Invest and Queen City is doing high end reno. InvestCar can do it quickly, get in and out, and they do good work too. You only need 2. That's it. And you already know what they're buying. You know where they're buying because we can see them. So you call them and you say, hey, if I bring you a deal at this price
InvestCar and
point,
what?
InvestCar, I'll copy and paste it. It's InvestCar LLC. And then I think it's Queen City Investments. We can literally search them because I know that
you said it right.
I know what their entity thing is.
Now, my friends, his is Queen City Solutions, so it might be a
Queen City
different company.
Solutions. I mean, let's look it up. His company name, I don't remember. The company name and the investment might be no, I don't think this is the one. Oh, Queen City Tech Solutions. No, not them, not them.
No, it's not
And
Tech Solutions. It's just
that's not
Queen
them.
City Solutions.
Let's check it. Maybe it's a while. Now I remember the logo. I think it was Queen City Investments. Investments. Is Queen City Solutions, are they also an investment company?
Yeah, they do real estate investment.
Do they? Maybe I'm mixing them up. I'll have to go through and you can go through and check it. I think QCRE, this is the one. Yeah, these are them. Let me share again. These are a 100%, no question. These guys will buy, if it makes sense.
Will they
And
Paris?
well, I know they will, right? Because it's what they're doing, and they even tell you, right? They got
Let me
like a
see.
Carrot website, but you can read through their stuff. They have all the same functions, but what they're doing differently is that they can offer more because they're doing higher end purchase. They're literally doing it's funny because when I see a Carrot website like this, I know what it looks like, right? But their funnel works because they're getting the deals. And then they're also, let's see, here we go. I mean, it's the same stuff. Like, it hasn't changed that much. I remember this house. I watched them do this one. Yeah, they can offer more for their houses. You can read through this stuff. I'll drop the link in there. Call these dudes and become one of their preferred signers, whatever the case is, because they are doing the work that other
Stop
flippers
it right
are
there.
not willing to do. What's up?
For instance, your house is 1,000 square feet in a neighborhood where there are 1,600 square foot houses. We
Exactly.
would probably be able to purchase your house for more than other people because we would put in the hard work and making an addition.
Exactly.
Oh my
And so
gosh!
when
Wow.
that's the point, right? So whereas InvestCar will come in and say, all right, it's 1,000 square. Oh, you got a 1,600 square foot neighborhood. I'm gonna buy into this 1,000 and just make it really, really nice inside. Queen City will go in and add square footage. They pour the slabs and they do all this
That's
stuff.
what I
They
like.
built the architecture to do that, right? I love their business model. Like, I love this. And then they also make beautiful homes. You can go look, and I'm sure that they got some things in the portfolio here. Whatever. But yeah, the contact number's right there. You can call them, and I think
Hold on, don't go away. Let me write it down.
no, you're good. Go ahead.
I know you did drop it in the chat, but I might as well just get it right here. I'm definitely gonna check that out too. Okay.
What was the fucking name, man? I think I got a new phone since then. I was on a different call system, so I don't have his number saved. But yeah, Queen City is a good one. Reach out to them, and talk to them. They probably need some. They if you acquire for them, you'll be set. And what you can do with Privy is figure out exactly where they're buying. Right? Tell them like, hey, what's the last thing you bought? And if I bring you another one just like it, then you know where you buy it, and then just ask them for the address, and then just go canvassing in that specific market. So that's the level of scrutiny.
Hopefully it's not too late.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like 4:30, so
it was 5:38.
Is it 5:38? Dang.
Yeah, might be too late. Right?
What else?
Anyway,
No, man, I called them at like 5 something, I think. He'll answer. But yeah, that's a good bet. So for this one, I mean, technically it's a deal, right? It's only been listed for 17 days.
But that's why though. But why would we buy what? Because I will go in and say, hey, let's get it for like 140, 150.
Sure. What's really interesting is that Privy says it's a deal at 160. If you get it for, so what this means right here is that
that's
at this
right
number
there.
or less. What's that?
I said that's 20K right there.
Yeah, exactly that. Well, you build in an additional 20K, they'll probably give you another 10, maybe 15 on top of that. But what this is saying is that at the very least, if you bought it at this number, no
Hey, my
additional
name is Christopher
negotiation,
Dodd.
that there is an
I know I
upside
call kind
built
of
in.
after hours, but I'm
So
a
why don't people
wholesaler here
just
in the
do this
area,
then? Because this
and
seems
I just want to
really
get in
easy.
contact with you guys and see
Because they don't have the
you
resources
what you
to
guys are
add the
buying and what's the
value.
last thing
So
you
some
bought,
people, you got
and
to
if
think
I
about
brought you
who the
something
customer
like
is
it,
again,
would you
right?
like to buy it?
I'm gonna be walking
You can
around,
give me a
so
call
I'm
back
off
at this
camera.
number
Um,
704
think about who the
215
when you say why
sorry
don't people do this? What do you mean?
704
Let me clarify your
214
question. What do
So
you mean?
I mean,
5519. Thank you.
Like as a
really take
wholesaler,
the
why
time to
not do
understand.
it this way?
No, really take the time to understand what a deal is. Then being able to have the I guess the resource to be able to utilize software to like this to be able to see the deal,
Stop.
and then
No,
once you see the
go
deal,
back.
now you can be able to go and
Wipe your
find the
face.
buyer. I
No,
don't
I
know
think
what
that's a
Privy. It just makes
Exactly.
everything a lot more succinct.
Yeah.
yeah. No, I think
You're
you're absolutely
absolutely
right.
right.
That's why I like
You're
Privy
absolutely
better.
right.
That's why I told you I only use Privy and
Okay,
batch leads.
so what would you guys go in at? Because I'm thinking like
I would try to get them
uh,
as low as possible, but if you know you can make
yeah.
You can get them as
potentially
low as
30,
possible. But
yeah.
here's the
Do
thing.
you
You can get them
do
as low as
you
possible. Here's your advantage. Because you got your closers. You can get them as low as possible, but here's what I'm telling you. It works at 165. So do you want to waste time? And I'm not saying you have to do this, but you don't have to
yeah.
waste time even thinking, does it work? We just determine what the exit is. So if you're saying I want to get in, get out of this quick, get Queen City on the phone and tell them, hey, I got a deal for you in a neighborhood that I see you're already buying in. Give me 10 quick grand. I will get this under contract. I'll do all the acquisition for you. And they'll be like, hell yeah. If you talk him down 20 grand to 140, because it's only been 17 days for this one, but if you talked him down 20 grand to 140, then you tell Queen City, if it's a deal for Queen City at 165, it's going to be a deal for Queen City at 145, and you just take the 20 grand. Don't even, like, it's not even a question. And if it's a deal for them,
But why would I
if you
go
have
to
to
the
talk
buyer
them,
first?
because then you know what they're
What they
that
want.
they'll pay you
Yeah.
for it. Maybe it's not even, maybe you don't even tell them this deal, right? You don't have to. Honestly, they're probably already looking at it, right? The
Yeah.
reason I'm saying talk to them first is this, that it cuts down on the timing. We've already had the conversation of building the buyers list. That's why that's why in the doc that I shared, it has a tab solely for cash buyers, because I don't want to go and run the numbers on every single thing. I only want to process leads that I have a reasonable expectation of disposing quickly, because the goal, at least from my perspective, right? The goal is a
Mhm.
system where, hey team, today we work in Charlotte. Here's our buyer's box. Like when I got Earl in this conversation with multifamily. Hey, here's what a B's looking for. You don't have to waste any brain power on what you're looking for. This is what you're looking for. Go find these things. Every question that you ask should be focused on these things. This is
If
the
they do
area.
this for multifamily as well,
Yeah, you can scrutinize multifamily in here too. So if I were to do the same thing, I would just change the filters.
I got to get Privy. Will
You
it
got
look
the
at
username and
commercial
password.
multifamily?
You could just use it. You got the thing. I mean, it didn't kick us out, so fucking go for it.
Yeah, I'm using it.
Bet.
Um,
It's pretty cool.
Will it look at commercial multifamily? No, right?
I think that's the one. So let me see. Let me say this. When you say commercial multifamily, you mean like hotels?
I mean, like 5 units in the. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure any girls, you're done in there. Get out of the bathroom, you ham bones. You wasting all my water. I'm gonna shake you both.
It's this house that's built in 2005, lot 4,000. That don't matter. 3 bed, 3 bath, 15 square feet. It looks like it'd be really nice.
You say
And it was built
15
in
square feet?
2005.
That's
No,
smaller than this room. I'm about to say that shit hella tall.
1500.
That shit hella tall.
Yeah,
Dry your
1,500
hands
square
and make sure the
feet.
water's off.
Um,
To answer your question, Earl, I'm pretty sure it can do multifamily. I mean, let's just fucking check it real quick. Let me take off the single family, check multifamily, and then run it.
yeah, this was listed 0 days ago, so this today. It might be a
That
sub
didn't
two
work.
opportunity.
probably
Girls,
only does
come here.
residential. That's fine though.
No. It definitely can. I will tell you that I'm not fully practiced on that one, but I'm pretty sure this is like I'm tripping.
Damn, bro, it's
No,
this
you may not.
huge building. Oh wait, never mind. Just one back.
So here's what so it is doing it, but not in the same way. So the one that we just put, like this one I'm looking at right now,
Mm.
Yeah.
this is a multi-building property. This is a duplex, and that's why this one pulled up. So I mean, technically it is doing it, I'm sure that I'm not scrutinizing it enough because I haven't used it for multifamily. I am
No, it's fine. I'll
almost
figure it
certain.
out.
I know
Hey,
that it
what's
has the
the?
settings in here. You just gotta play with it.
I'm sorry.
What's
What's
up?
the address for
No,
the
you good.
last?
The one we were looking at?
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. It's like Alany something. Alany. Hold up. Mother trucking. Stand by for disking. Hold up, hold up, hold up.
I was about to say, let's go back.
Hold up, hold up, hold up. Back to search. Filter.
Ooh,
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
that's you fame. It was hilarious, bro.
What happened?
I said Kim is hilarious, bro.
What'd she do?
Nah, she used to be sending me memes. It's just crazy.
I don't know, dude. It's somewhere in here. What the heck? Filter.
It was like
Some Alany.
1690s on lay.
165 is right here, up in the upper corner, in the upper left
What?
corner.
My corner?
165, upper left.
What
No,
corner
no,
are you
no.
talking about?
Go to the green. Go to the map. See the map? You see 165. You just on it. Right there.
Bro, there's no
There you
way
go,
you
bro.
just on the what you got the shine guy?
Yeah.
What is
Ain't no
609?
way, my boy.
Bro, everybody used to call me the
My boy got the Sharingan eye. He was like, yeah,
chill, bro.
it's
Chill.
that little green dot right there.
I'm a
Like,
visionary,
wow,
bro.
that was unacceptable. I feel violated.
Very cool.
I'm gonna go put on more clothes. This is not okay. My boy saw that thing. He's like,
I
oh, those
remember
green
the
dots.
praise. I remember
Hey,
the
That
praise.
one.
hey, Chris used
What's
to
up?
call the realtor now.
Yeah.
The realtor for this property.
Yeah.
You know what? You're
Yes.
right, but what I was thinking is actually just fucking sending a contract, bro.
Do it.
I was
Do it.
gonna.
Like, hey,
Do
there's a
that
contract
too.
in your inbox. Oh, okay. Here's the thing. Let me show you this. So you're about to send an offer, right? So here's
Yeah.
what you do.
Right.
Did I tell you you could send? I didn't tell you that you could
Look at
send
Kim
offers from
listening to me.
Privy.
What?
Share email address. Insert email address. I have a template. I'll share with you right now. You just put your offer in here. I told you. This is literally one of the first things I ever told you, and I know it was oh shit, my bad. The camera's up there. This is one of the first things I ever told you, and I know it didn't make sense at the time because you hadn't been in Privy. But I told you how, for some fucking reason, whenever I wrote an agent an email from Privy, it was 100% response rate. Did I tell you that?
No.
It's
Crazy.
crazy. I don't know
It's
how, because
crazy.
they don't answer the phone, but they see
Yeah.
my emails from Privy, and it shows them the comps and everything that I have. And for some reason, they take it super serious. I don't know why.
That's
They're like,
probably
"Oh
that's
snap."
probably why. Because they're like, okay,
Um,
you're showing exactly why. It's already showing.
yeah, and they
They're
can't
like,
play
all
you
right, so
because
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
for comp
It's like, all right,
information.
yeah, here.
Oh, not
Here,
that.
what you gonna say now? I sent you my offer with comps. Like, come on now. You can't say
Um,
you're not looking at what I'm looking at. The only way they
yeah,
can do that is like, okay, well, I'm not gonna open it, or I'm not gonna say nothing back to him. I'm like, I don't
yeah.
see it.
Privy, how
I'm
to comp
like,
offer using Privy. I also have videos for how you can comp using Privy. I made those too, so I'll just share all of this
oh,
with you
yeah,
guys. This
what?
is the no joke steps, right? I made this a while back, and then this is the template. Send to listing agent. This is the email. You can change that. I say, hey, I'm Paris. I'm a yada yada yada, and then I had my offer. I know more about this yada yada. You can fucking play with it. Let me just make this public. Yeah, I'll remove
I'm
that.
gonna say that I am going to offer. We'll offer 105. No, I'm just kidding. I'm offer like 1.
Now, when you send it, what it will show is they're gonna see my name because it's attached to my account.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can play with it and figure out how you want to say it, right? It's not that deep.
Okay, who's JV anyway?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's what it says, right? So assuming,
Mm-hmm.
so the way that I showed the fucking VAs how to do it, and I would say like assuming an ARV of this and an estimated renovation of this, we put forth an offer of this, and this is literally it is,
Okay,
right?
because I was just gonna
Assuming an
get.
ARV of this, and well, the reason that this worked for whatever reason I think this is specifically it. And I didn't make this up. This is like straight from like the Privy, the guy who made Privy, who's the CEO, his name is Benson. The dude's cool as fuck. I've been on the phone with him. He's like hella cool,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
He did a lot of work with Pace, and that's why they use this now because it's great because it lets you do the things that we just talked about. But literally,
Yeah.
this is the statement. He's like,
Okay, let's do this, bro.
call it what it is. Ran the numbers
Mhm.
and assuming an ARV of this, right? And theirs is
Mhm.
either that or not, and an
Mhm.
estimated renovation of this, and theirs is either that or not. I would bring an offer of this. It's a written offer, and so they have to present it. And so what they
Mhm.
have to do, what they will more often than not do, is call me. But be prepared to draft a written purchase and sale agreement and send over proof of funds if needed. I'd like to know more about the home and what the seller needs if you have time to chat. You can send 100 of these a day. You can send as many as you want. I'm gonna
Mhm.
share it with you right now. Let me just grab the link.
Cool, bro.
Bow.
What?
The
So what
what?
is it looking like what is it looking like the price of
Oh, good point.
the
So here's what I have
renovation
here,
gonna
right? So for the
be?
rental as of it, I said light, if it's paint, carpet, light fixtures, $20. Retail refresh, a new kitchen and only one bathroom being updated with carpet and floor, new doors and fans, that's $40. A full gut job, $60. If it's absolutely destroyed, it would be $75. If it's a new additions, if anything needs to be added as far as square footage, it's
Mm.
$1.25 for that addition.
Oh, so
125 for that addition. And so let's just go and use that. If we just snapshot that and we go back to Omni
mhm.
and I look at Omni and I say, okay, what would I need to do? Because we just talked about what we would do for this one, right?
Mhm. Exactly. Exactly what we
Queen
need to
City
do.
is a renovator. And I
Yep.
already did the math. It's like 700 square foot that I want to add here. So if I was looking at this and I said 125 times 700, so we got to at least put 87 grand in just to add square footage. And then what about the rest of the house? It's partially renovated. Um, but it is going to need some work. It's not destroyed, so it's not $75. It's partially
Yeah.
renovated. They've got flooring. I would argue 40 to 60. Let's go back to the thing and look at it, right? If it's
Mhm.
retail
I say
refresh, new kitchen,
40.
40. So let's do the 40 times. So 87,000 plus. Let's do 40 times, what is it? 1,046. So that's 41 grand. So we're talking about 130. And you don't have to do this. I account for
Mhm.
15% buffer or at least 10. So we're talking about 142,000. So assuming an ARV of, let's just go check it. We'll just make the offer right now. I'm gonna just do it. We
Yep.
do it
Let's
live
do
and I'm
it.
recording. So hell yeah.
Let's do it,
So
bro.
assuming, what do we say? What did I say that renovation is 142K? Let's just call it even 143K. Um, let's get weird. Settings, all save. Show me everything, Privy. Hey, wow, or not. Not that's not what I wanted. Comparables. All right, let's see what we got. Western Drive. Oh, I already eliminated a bunch of these. All right, let's go back in here. Show me everything sold. Let's go for the highest price. What's sold? I see a 383. This is the one, Maple Leaf, 1,700
Mhm.
square feet. Cool. Within the same slot. Yeah, okay, cool. That's the one. Yep, I would make it something like
How
that.
many comps would you want to use to validate that assumption that you'll get that 380
I only
price?
need one. I only
You
need
only
one.
need one?
I
Okay.
only need one. The more I have,
Because
the
you
better.
only need the
But
one
truthfully,
buyer.
I only need one buyer. And if I already know
Yeah.
that Queen City is, the more I have, so it's two different questions there. The
Before you
question
go into
is,
that,
yeah,
what if they did that 185 price, they did the flip, but let's say they regret doing it and they don't want to do flips anymore.
Why would they do?
that's
Why
why I
would
would
they
talk to the
regret
buyer
it?
first. But
Okay, and
Okay.
who bought this? Right? Isn't it Queen City who bought this one?
who bought it as
I think
the
it's
flipper?
Investor.
I think this is an invest car, yeah. So that would be a conversation. I mean, but here's the question. So
Okay.
your question, as I understand your question is, what if InvestCar, after doing this deal, they were like, man, it wasn't worth it, right?
Yeah.
That's why I would find my buyer first and say, hey, InvestCar, if I find you another deal like the one you did at 404,
Mm.
4408 Maple Leaf, would you buy another one just like it and renovate that one?
Got
They'd
it.
be like, hell yeah, Dr. Doom. I'm like, bet. Send me an assignment contract. Here's your assignment contract. Here's your purchase price. They bought it at 180. So here's a conversation. This one's listed at 165. They bought that one at 180. They only had to add 100 square feet though, so that's that's not crazy, but they know how to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just working on
Yeah,
this one.
I'm going with
We're
Queen
looking at
City.
142. We're looking at 142, and we say, well, if we bought it at 165, I wouldn't do 165. Let's start them at one. I don't know. So let's do it at 145. Go crazy, dog. So you're talking about 287 all in, give or take a couple percentages for other costs. And then if you got 283, I mean 383 in theory, there's a 95 grand delta in there, right? 38. Just assume that your flipper is going to want at least 10%. So they're going to want at least 30. If it's 383, I'm going to take off. I'm working backwards, right? They're at least going to want 38,300 off the top. Then I have to account for costs minus whatever 383,000 times 0.08 is, right? 8% of the loan, which is 30 grand. That's off the top. I want to make sure that I make, let's call it 20 grand. And then we talked about the renovation budget, which in this case is about 143,000, 151. So yeah, that's approximate, right? And this doesn't even take out the purchase cost of this one. So I would be in the ballpark of 140, 151 would make sense for this deal. And so let's offer them 140. We'll just do it today.
Yeah.
Assuming, and now I will say this though, they're gonna call, and I don't have a buyer yet, and that's fine. I'm actually giving, what, we'll give him your number. You can talk to him. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can talk to him. Right, be like, hey, I'm looking at this thing, and you can literally walk him through this entire process. Like, yeah, I'm working with this investor. I'm looking at these two main investors. This guy does this, which are low, quick, dirty rehabs, $30, and
I
this
don't
guy
want to
does
tell him
this.
that.
You can tell him because here's why I would tell him. This is an agent, right? The
Mhm.
agent's not thinking this, and they don't even understand what you're talking about. You have no competition here, I promise you. Very, very low likelihood of competition on this one. Tell the agent this, one, so he knows the fuck you're talking about. Two,
Mhm.
that he understands that anybody who calls and doesn't understand this is an amateur or they don't have
Mhm.
network, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then three, if he has any other positions to tell him that this house is worth $165,000, which it's just not.
Mhm.
The customer that he has in his head is an end buyer who's going to put 30 grand in it as he lives in it. That is a type of customer. That's one buyer in a whole pool of different avatars. He's not looking at the fix and flipper who could come in and do all the work like Queenstar. He's not looking at a fix and
Mhm.
flipper who will get it up to current standards, not doing anything crazy like in this car. He's only thinking
Mhm.
about an end buyer, and that's why realtors suck.
Yeah.
This is my snippet for YouTube one day, right? I'm gonna put this one up today. This is gonna be my next reel. That's why they
Why
suck. That's
realtors suck.
why realtors suck. That's exactly why, right? Um, what's really cool about this one is sorting it by price. You can kind of see the escalation of price, and it consolidates as you're looking at the square footage, as you're looking at the date there. So in Charlotte, in this market, what I can
Yeah.
tell
Now
you
let's
is that
think about it too. Is it?
what's up?
Is it? It looks like it might be going up, but whoa, what the fuck? This lot
Now
is 60,000
let me
square
sort
feet.
it. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That one's gigantic. That might be a typo. Sometimes it pulls weird data. I don't know, man. That's just weird. I just sorted it by date. So when we look at the dates, the price is actually not going up. The price is actually going down. So it's
Mm,
softened. So fix and flipping has become harder. And this is an even more important reason why you need to call Queen City. Because
yeah.
for the people who were doing flips like InvestCar
Mm,
or how they used to normally operate, where they're not adding square footage, it's become more difficult for them to make a flip work because the price is softened.
yeah.
But for Queen City, their clientele is just different. They have the
Mm,
capital. They're not concerned about, they're looking for quality. It's
yeah.
completely different
Exactly.
psychographic, right? So if I sort it by
Exactly.
date and I look at what's sold recently, 325. So if I just assume for a second, 325, they bought, that was a lot. That was a new build
Yeah.
entirely. Oh, let me see. Sorry, let me see. Where is it? I would assume an ARV of,
But
I
those
want to
should
do,
appreciate.
well, they will appreciate, but again, you have to consider what the thought is
No, now.
always if an appraiser comes tomorrow after the
Mm,
house is done, if an appraiser comes and says, how much is this house worth? As soon as you finish that rehab, what are
mm,
they likely to use of comps and what are they likely to give as a value? An appraiser would 100% use this new property, right? It's 325. If the property was added, and here's a good one, right? So let's just talk about this one. If you add only 400 square feet, you can get it to 325. It's within, it's not that far off. It's like literally like 200. Well, it's not that much, right? 74 plus 24,
It's like
2,500.
3,000. Like 3,000.
What is it? Something like that. But it's
Yeah,
close.
like 3,000 something square
Right.
feet.
And so what an
Selling this
appraiser
year.
will do, is they will make adjustments. It's literally 1,000. Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's like 1,100. Well, no, it's like 1,000, right? 1905 minus 10,934. It's 1,000.
But
That's not crazy.
our lot is 7,000.
Yeah, 70. So the threshold that I'm looking for, that's all I'll do it again. 7405 plus 2,500. So the upper threshold that I want to look at for the simplest version is 9905. This lot is not 10,934. The difference there is about 1,000.
Oh, so you're saying that you're saying that it'd still be in the
The
same
the
thing.
appraiser will, I'll show you one right now because I have one
So if you
from like fuck, what is it? Where is it? I'll show you an appraisal. Have you seen an appraisal report before?
mm-mm.
All right, I'll show you one. So it's a different thing, and I don't want to confuse you, but I have to show you so you know what I'm talking about. An
Yeah.
appraiser will use an appraiser will use the an appraiser will make an adjustment. They are authorized to make an appraisal is an opinion. But what they are taught to do and what they're able to do is they are able to make an adjustment based on the other values and properties. And so what they'll do is, okay, I'm gonna have to scrap this out when I put this up because this is kind of PII, right?
Mm.
Um, but what an appraiser will do, so this is an official formal appraisal report. So what they do is they take the subject property, and you can go look this up if you want. This is somebody else's deal. Don't scoop them. Don't be like fucking who shall not be named. If that is his
Yeah.
name, right?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. So this is the property, and what they do is the appraiser takes that property, they take the subject property and they take it, they go for at least 3 comps. If they don't have them, then they will make adjustments. They'll find the closest things they can. I know this is a lot of information, but this is what I want you to see. They get to this point, and what they'll do is they'll say, here's the subject property, right? Here's the subject property in this first column. Comparable sale 1, 2, and 3. I don't give a damn about pending. I don't give a damn about active. If it has not
Yeah.
sold, it does not affect value. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You're like, yeah, we got a couple actives, cool, but you can literally tell an agent, but the appraiser doesn't look at actives. Until it's sold, I really don't care. And I'm not making decisions based on what it could be. I'm making decisions based on what is. This is what I want you to see. A net adjustment. What the appraiser does by regulation is they make an assessment on how much value certain things provide and what they don't provide. You have straightforward things. What are the functional utilities? How many bedrooms does it have? What type of heating does it have? Is forced air central cooling? Are there any energy efficient items like I don't know, refrigerators or things like that? Does it have a garage or carport? And if it does, there's a certain value that I will give you for it. Does it have a porch? What kind of porch is it? Is it a porch deck? Is it screened? Is it not? Is it a stoop? I'll give you value for it. If my subject property has something better and yours does not, then I'll remove the value for it, right? So if as I'm comparing between these two, right? The subject property, which is this first column here, has a screened porch. The porch deck for comparable sale 1, 2 they got value of they had to be increased. A screen porch is higher value than a porch deck, right? Porch stoop has to be increased even more. So the sale for number 3 is $2,500 less than the screen porch. The sale number 1 and 2, they got $1,000 added there. All that matters, I don't want to get into the weeds here. What this is saying is that there's a net adjustment of a 4%. This means that this one is 4%. This one, so sale 1 had to be inflated by 4% to compare to number 1, the subject property. Sale number 3 had to be inflated by 10% to be equal or comparable to this subject property. Why is that important? Because when I'm running my comps, I need to know this, but I don't want to get stuck in it. It's good that you know it because you know that an appraiser is going to be able to give you these adjustments. But I don't want to do the adjustments in my hard math because the realtors, unless they are an appraiser, they should also not be doing these hard adjustments in their hard math. They will try and they will fail. Don't get into that ball game. Only
Mhm.
look at what the black and white numbers are and let the appraisers, general rules, the 80-90% rules guide you.
Mhm.
And so what they did was, based on these adjustments, they came to these numbers, right? The 348, 345, the 346, and they found the average. And that's what the opinion, that's what the price opinion is in this particular space. The opinion of value that they came to was 355 because they looked at
If it's
three
fully
properties. No, for this
okay.
one, so that's interesting. For this property, this one's not even renovated. You can actually look at the pictures in here. I can't share this one with you, but
Hello?
um, we can. You still there? Oh, okay. Is this interesting for the rest of you guys? Is this
Hey,
good? I know I'm doing a
hey, I'm
lot.
good. I'm good. I'm sorry. I called by accident. I should have texted you. I'm sorry.
I've seen an appraisal before, but it
Oh,
is
okay, yeah,
helpful,
yeah.
and I
Okay.
know how they operate.
I'm good. I'm good.
Awesome.
How are you?
Um, but yeah. So that's that. So going back to Privy, so we can sit this offer out, and they're gonna call like today. I don't know what it is about agents and Privy. They see this and they light up. They're like, oh my goodness.
It's a two-bedroom, one bath in High Point. But you would totally have to like gut it.
Is it a tear down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you looking for any of those?
I may be
I'll look at
interested.
anything.
I may have some people that's interested.
Okay.
Give me the address. You'll send it to me?
Let's reach out to Landon, and I'm gonna see if he still has that available because I know he threw it in one of our groups that I'm a part of. And see if he still has that.
Girls, can I have some cashews?
Now with explain
Bye.
something with Plan D. Is that like
Bye, Yoli.
are you
Can I have some cashews?
how does that
Can you
investment
bring the cashews here?
work? Is it like
Stop,
wholesaling
stop.
or
Why are you naked?
No, this is private money.
Girl,
private
go,
money?
Yeah.
go,
But like
go
are
put
you
something on.
because
Can
I
you
was
bring me the
reading
cashews?
up on it.
Please?
I had another colleague in the office. She was trying to tell me about it, so I just went and started doing my own research. Is it like that? They're the private money lenders, and
Yep.
you're trying to find a buyer on like another buyer while you're under contract.
Stop.
It can
What did I
be.
just tell you?
Yeah.
Baby, you're not gonna sit in the house without, baby, you're not gonna.
Yeah. I mean, you want to be an investor? I guess you asking some good questions. You want to be an investor? Some
Tell her we got a
interesting
live Zoom. Tell her we got a Zoom. She can come kick it with us.
That, but it's not the money I read up on PNC how they do the investing. I mean, have a
Ask her what she's doing after 8 o'clock.
Hey, what you doing after 8 o'clock?
who me?
Yeah.
I'll be going to a football game. Why y'all have a Zoom call?
Yeah. How'd you know?
She follow me on YouTube or what?
Say that again. What's the next one? We have one every day.
Office hours. Drop her the link.
Office hours.
And then I'm going to, of course, football game. Maybe tomorrow, text me, shoot me information, and I'll see if I can hop on. But yeah, absolutely.
All right, for sure.
I'll jump onto
Absolutely.
it. Okay, all right. Well, I'm talk to you in a little bit.
All right, bye bye. All right, cool. Looking forward to it.
The boy was saucing.
Not him putting his head back. I'm not getting beat up. No. You stop that right now. And you're not gonna get us beat up. I'm not getting beat up for this. Not for nobody.
I'm not getting
I'm
get
crying,
beat
bro.
up either. That wasn't me talking.
Not on me.
You put
I'm
his
trying to
head
do
I
up.
was just listening.
Not you turning the Riz up. You stop that right now.
All right, man. Let's get back to this preview.
No. You're not gonna skip over it. No, sir. No, sir.
Hey, bro. She
You gonna
called
send
me.
her a
Hey,
link or
listen,
what?
bro. I'm not. All right, come on, bro.
All right.
What's up with the preview, man?
If I was looking at the ARV for this one,
Mm-hmm.
I would call it. I would feel most comfortable probably at 325, 320, 320. Let me see this one.
Right.
320. 320 is a good one because it's only some of the 320s are renovations with square footage ads, which is what we'd be talking about here, which really eliminates a lot of your competition. This one's not crazy. I see what they did there. This is where they added the addition,
Pretty
by the way.
nice.
And also, here's a secret. If you see a carport, that's where you add your square footage. If there's ever a
Mm.
carport, the slab's already there. They just got to close it up. It's super fucking easy. They frame it out, they close it up, it's done. This is literally a carport. That's just what it is. I can see it. So yeah, I would say,
Hold
so
up.
let's go back. So we said that there was we said the ARV was about 3. So assuming an ARV of 320 and a where is it? Assuming an ARV of 320 and a rehab of 144,000, right? I shared
Mhm.
this with you, right? I shared this with you.
Yeah, I
This is
think
literally the
so.
steps.
Did you?
This is literally the steps that I use for comping, right? In general, and it's not a hard line, but this is what I just talked about. So if you need to see it in writing, that's it. But it also has the thing, the holding cost, the mile.
This
So
is probably why they take it more serious because it's like, okay, these guys giving numbers.
yeah, I don't give them the whole. I don't give them all this back here. I only take what's down here. But yeah. I mean, it's probably why I never. I will say that there's something that I never explored here.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is, but literally 100% response rate to these emails. And it's probably because with a phone call, they could probably pretend they didn't get it, but with an email,
Mhm.
they 100% certainly got it because the email that I sent it to was from the listing and it's their official brokerage email. And remember we talked about when you send them emails on their servers, they can't pretend. Even if they delete it, it's
Yeah.
always there. That's
Yep.
why probably what it
Yeah.
was, right?
Okay.
So let me
Cool.
see. So if I start with my ARV, call it 320. My holding costs, I'm gonna subtract. I'm gonna take away 3%, right? So I'm gonna make this 0.97, and then my disposition costs, I'm gonna take away another. Oh shit, I'm tripping. So my 320 times 0.92, which I already knew. I want to subtract my buyer's profit, and if it's 320, it's gonna be 32,000. My wholesaling fee. Chris wants to make at least 10 grand on this one, and we'll probably see if it's more. And then my rental estimate was 143. So my mile on this, damn, that's just wild. So my mile on this one
Yeah.
truly is like 109, and that's
That's
why,
probably why it
right?
hasn't. That's probably why it
That's
hasn't
why.
sold.
Now, if we
Um.
got it up to 380, and this is where I want to explore. I don't really like the 380 comp
Yeah.
because from the timeline perspective, and this is why this is important using Privy. From the timeline perspective, I'm not seeing the comps hold in 320 right now. I haven't seen good sales. I mean, I haven't seen good sales in the 380 space. Is it possible? Sure. This one was 2 months ago. 375? Sure, that's a possible. This is a brand. What's up with this one? I don't think we looked at this one. This one's interesting. I don't have a lot of data here. Oh, it's a duplex, so that's a completely different
Mm.
fucking party. This one's a multifam,
Mm.
so I wouldn't even use that one. I love it,
Yeah.
but I would not use that.
Gotta go.
And gotta go. What's that Maple Leaf one? The 385 Maple Leaf one. This one was what was the story with this one? This is the one we're looking at. Yeah. So
Mhm.
if Queen City was our buyer, if it was somebody who was doing this one, I would say my ARV is somewhere between 320 and 382. If you did a job like this, then it would be even more reasonable. And this is why Privy says it's a deal. Because if I do 385, I'll call it 382. This was let me see the date for this one. Is it even recently? Uh, when was it sold? Yeah, 623. So it's like 2 months ago. So there's still plenty of time to do this one. They did all the work in like 60 days. And that even gives you a better idea, right? Like if you were
Yeah.
to buy this and get it over to them, if it only
Yeah.
took them 60 days to rehab it, then you know that you got 2 months, you got 6 months to get this done. Takes them 2 months to flip it and then 2 months to sell it. They still got a good opportunity. And then even if it's close, they're probably going to be okay. If they get that appraisal done before, they're good. So let's just, I would say, I'd say you could argue for this 385. 383, right? So let's work backwards. Let's go do the thing. Let's go do it live. I'll start with my ARV.
Realistically, the rehab might be less than we expect, just because of the
It's
way the
very
property
likely.
is.
Well, for
Yeah.
this one, well, yeah, I mean that's fair. And I don't necessarily know, but this is a conversation about why I would talk to my buyer first. When you talk to the
Yeah,
Queen City or any other ones, you can shoot them the things like, hey man, what's the scoop with this one? These guys are like legitimate, right? They're not trying to scoop you on anything. They don't want to do lead generation at all. They probably hate it. So if you bring this value to them, you're like, hey, I found a deal. I ran the numbers. Can you verify it for me? probably gonna take a couple times for them to run it through, right? But
Mm,
I got an ARV of this. I'm gonna do 0.92. I'm taking off 8% for disposition and holding costs. I'm accounting for 10% off the top for the buyer. If it was 382, that means 38 grand off the top. I'm accounting for the wholesaling fee that you want to make, so I'm gonna count for 10 grand off of that. And then my rental estimate, that was 143, 161. So yeah, I mean, right now it's sitting at what? 168?
65.
65.
It's 165. So if I
Mm.
offered 165, that would be pretty good.
Let me ask you a question.
Shoot.
So if I wanted to rehab it myself, what would I need to get it at?
If you're gonna do the same amount of rehab and get it up to that level,
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same number. It would be
Okay.
different though. So here's what changes. And I haven't built a calculator for this because it's not my business model. But if you can do the work yourself, and let's just assume for a second, we gotta make some assumptions. And if you're gonna do the work yourself, you might be living there, right? You might be like moving there to live in it and do a live and flip, which would give you a number of other benefits, which would probably be the most efficient way. But if you were gonna flip it yourself, like you doing all the work, no labor,
Correct. Yep.
bro. Okay. So if you did all the work yourself, I would say you want to extend your time period. The problem that you'd run into is that that property that is the actual flip comp that we'd be using, it would not necessarily be a comp at that point. Now, at that level, you're really creating your own value. And that's there's value in there, but it depends on how long it would take. But the numbers remain the same. I would say that I would use these numbers as a ballpark. Hold on. Girls, 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 ladies. Ladies, look at me. Stop right there. Look at me. Stop. Are you not listening? Are you just going to keep walking? Stop. I know you're having a great time and I'm happy for you. All right. But it's hard for me to hear myself talking, thinking with you guys yelling. All right. Can you guys go play upstairs like we talked about? Thank you. Um, I would use the same numbers. The fact of the matter is, what's up, baby? Oh, we are hella late. I'm so sorry. Your mom's almost home though, so I also gotta run soon, guys. I didn't realize how late it is. Did you find your swimsuits? Go get your swimsuit on. Help your sister find hers. And we're gonna go outside. Your mom's about to be home. We're gonna go outside. Um, damn, I definitely blew the clock on that one. I would
No,
use the
I
same
understand it.
numbers. I
Yeah, I
would use the
understand
same
what you mean.
numbers. Your expenses, your costs, so that rental cost is technically labor and materials.
Yep.
If you don't have labor costs, it might be cheaper for you. But what you might have greater is material costs because
Correct.
you're not a contractor by trade. So you're probably going to use more materials. You save a fuck ton on labor, but that's what's interesting though is that in the majority of the expenses for the job is labor. The materials are only like I have another tool for this that I'll share with you when I get back and whatnot. The tools, the labor is the most expensive part of the job. It's like 2/3. So if you have almost no labor and you're only really paying for um, materials, you're saving way more. So of that
Yeah.
140,000, 143,000, let's just presume that you're only going to spend a third of it. So that's like 43 grand, maybe a little bit more if you want to add a buffer in, right? Because there's no buffer built into this. So 47 grand. So if you were to buy this at that price, because the numbers don't change, the purchase price would remain the same. In theory, you could go higher. I wouldn't. Buy it at 160, 161 is what we came after, right? 161. Put 47 grand into it if you can do that level of quality, because what you have to remember is that you have to get it to the same quality as the ARV. And if you can do
Yep.
that, then yeah, you turn it into 180, 380 some $1,000. So anyway, going back to the comp, we just did the math and I'm just gonna send it. And they're gonna call you, just so you
Yeah,
know, Chris.
yeah, it's cool. Absolutely fine.
I'm gonna just modify the template here. You guys have access to this. It's like the last thing I sent you. Say, hey, my name is Paris, investor. My partner Chris and I, blah blah blah, and send it. And if you guys send it, so here we go. So here's how you submit an offer on Privy, and this is also in that document that I just shared with you. So you go to share
Mm,
up at the top. So you just have to have the property up. So 4609 Alany. After I ran all my comps, whenever I'm looking at it, if I see it here, or if I see the big picture, or if I'm on another one if I'm down here at comps and I see the number up to the top like that, that means I'm looking at it. So I'm going to click share. Well, actually, let me back up. First, I'm going to put it added key. I don't have to add a key. You can put notes in here also. They'll stay in there and they're visible to you and no one else. So what I'm gonna do is share. I'm going to take the link here. I'm gonna take the first part out, but I'm gonna leave the Privy link at the bottom. And that's so that they can click it and they can get there. Take the first part, paste my template. I'm gonna say, hello, I'm Paris, a North Carolina realtor investor. Our team and I are invested. And the reason I'm leaving it to say Paris is because the email that they'll get will say Paris. And this property ran the numbers, and assuming an ARV of what was it, 383? Let's call it 380. An estimated renovation improvement cost of $143,000. We would like to bring an offer of $161,000.
No.
No? Oh, 140? What were you saying? 150, 140? 45?
Yeah, we could do 150.
You gonna do 150? Are you generous?
Fuck yeah, let's shoot it at 140.
I'm prepared to draft.
So let's shoot it at 140.
Are prepared to draft a written purchase and sale agreement and send over proof of funds if needed. I'd like to know more about the home and what the seller needs. We have time to chat. I can be reached by my partner, Chris, can be reached by text or phone at, what's your number, Chris?
704
704
214
214
5519.
5519. Even if we can't strike a deal on this one, I appreciate your time and look forward to doing business together in the future. Here's your link. Hello, I'm Paris, North Carolina realtor and investor. My team and I are interested in this property as an investment opportunity. We ran the numbers and assuming an ARV at 380 and a estimated renovation improvement cost of 143. We would like to bring an offer of yada yada. We are prepared to draft a written purchase sales if needed. And yada 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 yada. Cool. And then I just need their email, which I'm going to get straight from Privy. Right. So let me copy that. I should have done that first, I guess. Control C. Close it real quick. So where do I get their where do I get their information? MLS details. Scroll down in the MLS
They have a
details.
number.
Tim Counts. Yeah, I have his number, but
You want to get his
you know what?
email?
I don't have to. Oh yeah, I do have to do it this way.
Can it
I should
be
have. Sometimes it does it the other way, but we'll do it this way. All right, so we'll do share. I think I actually said that you have to do it this way, but it's okay. So it's named 10 Counts. And we have 46 all in the street. So what was it? 10 Counts. What was the real thing?
10 Counts Realtor. It's right there. The second one. It's right there. Second one.
Keller Williams Bay Area. Is that him?
Yep. No. Nope.
This guy. This is him. I think. We're gonna find out.
Right.
Oh, you're not getting my location. Send me that low. There he is. 10 Count KW. Bro, get the fuck out of here.
Check if this phone number is the same one. You can copy and paste this already though, so you already have it. But if just in case, it's him. But you can check that number. It's 6541 and see if it's the same.
Oh, you mean the one in Privy? Yeah, let's just take
Yeah.
Yep, that's
Yep.
That's him. Cool.
Let's get it, bro.
Email. So I send it to him, and then I CC. I mean, you can CC anybody. In this case, it's gonna come from Privy. Usually, what I do just to make sure that it went out, but you don't really have to, is I'll send it to the email that I'm gonna receive it in. But yeah. Yeah. And it should. So it says, "Paris Giver sent your Privy deal. Here's the address. This is what the subject of the deal is." Boom. Done. Offer. We just sent an offer. He's gonna call you like 9 times out of 10. Like I haven't. I'd be shocked if he doesn't. Obviously, a little bit later in the day, but
yeah, he'll probably call me tomorrow. Because it says they closed now,
we just did a
and
lot,
he sent it to a system service.
Yeah, we just did a lot. But you guys have this document. If you guys can go to town with that, this outlines the comping and analyzing path that we've been doing throughout the day. This also outlines the reno estimate. This is built with the perspective of using it with the tool that I gave you, Earl. So that's why those numbers are in there. And I called it, I even made a little acronym, right? Service snapshot I got for company properties. At the end of this, I want you to be able to be armed. And to be armed, you need 4 things. You need the after repair value, A. You need the R, final estimate. You need the M, max allowable offer. And then you need the E, entry offer.
Yeah.
If you're armed, there's no reason why you're not a serious competitor to take down these deals. And this is the process. So yeah,
Thank you, man.
cool. You have access to Privy. If you didn't save the password, let me know. And if I get dinged or something about the password or whatever, and I mean, I have to change it, but I'll just keep giving it to you until they lock me out. And if we gotta buy a new account, then we'll do that. We'll see what happens. Cool.
Appreciate it, bro. Yeah, man.
All right. I will be back on no pay hours. I'll be back at 8. If that agent wants to do business in Charlotte, because I don't have an agent in Charlotte for us, and you know I don't want to submit any fucking offers. So
yeah.
If she's looking, it sounds like she's into it, right? If she's, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm eating. I'm snacking.
Good, bro.
If she is looking to do some investing type things, and it sounded like she's really interested, that's very, very valuable. And so if she's open to it, if she's looking to bring you opportunities, let's teach her so that she can be even more valuable.
Exactly, because she would bring.
Yeah.
She
she got a
kind
football
of trying
game
to tell
night.
me how
That's
to
cool.
do my job, kind
Yeah.
of.
Let her show you. She might know something local to that market. She's the local subject matter expert. I don't fight with subject matter experts. I want subject matter experts. So bring her into the team, and she can be the she can be the Charlotte person. But what I can tell you is that she don't know more than we do. Very likely.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not the one. That's not the one you she's in Greensboro. That's another person.
Keep it. I'm home. All right, team. It's been a pleasure. I see y'all in there. I love that y'all getting in there and getting after it. If you need anything, text me. I'll have my phone with me. It's just gonna be a little bit slower because it's off pay hours. Well, it's family time, and then there'll be no pay hours. So I'll be back. Okay.
All right, man.
Appreciate it.
All right. Hey, make sure you guys get some time away from your computer. Like you gotta take a break. Go play with that baby. Chris, go take a walk. Where's your kids at, Chris? I haven't heard them in like a day or 2.
Yeah. Shit, vacation.
Oh, vacation? I like that. Yeah. Bro, take a walk. We'll let this shit digest and then come back for no pay hours.
Oh yeah, man. I'll be back at 8
systems building. All right.
On the dot.
All right.
Yeah. Everyone take a walk, take a break. I'm coming back. I'll see you guys at no pay hours.
All right, man.
Bye. Girls, I missed you. Where you been all day? You told me what? You talking trash? I'm gonna bite your face.
Just get this?
What's up?
Oh, we've been had to do East. I thought you remember.
Earl, you staying in here? Earl, you
I'm staying in here.
I'm gonna make you co-host. All right. I almost left without making a co-host. Ali, I'm gonna make you co-host. I'm gonna make Earl a host. I'm gonna make you co-host. You guys figure it out from there. Hello, my love.
Hey.
I missed you. Where you been all day? I'm gonna come hug you. Give me 1 second. You dying? Oh, don't die. It says I can't make you co-host, so you'll be all right. You guys have a nice day. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right.